Welcome to AffairsCloud. My name is Vikas Rana. We are one-stop solution for current affairs. You can find Crack Current Affairs course on our application exclusively for current affairs, where you will get daily, weekly, monthly content on regular basis. Use the code Vikas10 and get 10% additional discount while purchasing the course. Also, students, follow us on Telegram and Instagram. The link for the same are mentioned in our description. This video has both English and Hindi. The first part is English and second part is Hindi. Timestamps are mentioned in the description below. Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope you are all good. So students, in this video we will be discussing important current affairs for the topic international affairs for September month. Session will be quite interesting and important, so stay tuned with us till the end. Let's start. The first question is, in September, India participated in the 9th edition of which exercise, that is the Russian-Belarusian Joint Strategic Military Exercise that was held on joint training grounds of Russia and Belarus. The exercise is ZEPAD. Take a note of this, and India took part in this exercise. This is the 9th edition of this exercise. Next is, in September, the permanent delegation of India to UNESCO announced that 7 Indian properties were added under the national category in UNESCO's tentative list of the World Heritage Sites. Which of the following is not among the 7 sites here? Among the following, if we see, natural heritage of Valley of Flowers of Uttarakhand is not among the 7 sites that were added here. With this, the total number of Indian sites on the list has increased to 69. Next, mention the organization whose agreement on fisheries subsidies aimed at reducing overfishing formally came into force on 15th of September, becoming the organization's first agreement focusing on the environment. So mention that organization. It is World Trade Organization, that is WTO. Right, with this, a total of 112 countries have now accepted agreement, thereby achieving the condition for the minimum of 2/3 of WTO's member, that is 166 members, formal acceptance. Next, where did the 9th edition of the exercise Pacific Reach take place in September, which also joined by the Indian naval ship Nistar? So where did this 9th edition of this exercise took place? It took place in Singapore. Next, pick the country that was re-elected in September to the Council of Administration and the Postal Operation Council of the Universal Postal Union for 4-year term, that is from 2025 to 2028. This is our India. Right, and it was the 28th edition of the Universal Postal Congress. Where was this held? This was held in Dubai. Next, identify the international organization that released the State of the Global Water Resources report in September, highlighting that only 1/3 of the global river basins had normal conditions. So, which is that international organization? It is the World Meteorological Organization, that is WMO. Correct, and the report further highlighted that around 60% of the global rivers recorded either excessive or deficient water flows for the 6th consecutive year. Next, mark the country with which India has launched the inaugural Maritime Security, Disarmament and Non-Proliferation Dialogue, focusing on the cooperation under the United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Seas. So mark the country. Which is this country we are talking about? It is Norway. Right, it is Norway. Next, identify the country with which Indian Navy held an inaugural bilateral maritime exercise in the Mediterranean Sea in September 2025. It is Greece. Right, take a note of it. And here INS Trikand took part in this exercise. Next is the biological diversity of the areas beyond national jurisdiction, that is BBNJ agreement under the United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Sea, which secured 60 ratifications in September, will come into force when? It will be coming into force in January 2026 onwards. Next is, who held the G20 presidency to host the 2025 edition of the Chief Science Advisors Roundtable, chaired by Annalene Morgan, convened in September 2025. So who held this G20 presidency? Held by South Africa. Next is, mention the organization in India that virtually participated in the Science Summit 2025 at the 80th edition of UN General Assembly, held under the theme Women and Girls in Science, Driving Gender Inclusive Innovation, Gender Equality and Breaking Barriers in the United States of America. So mention that organization. It is CSIR's arm, National Institute of Science, Communication and Policy Research. Next, which Indian company's defense manufacturing unit was jointly inaugurated by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and Morocco's Defense Minister Abdelif Loudei in Morocco? So, which Indian company's defense manufacturing plant it is? It is Tata Advanced Systems Limited, and this TESL, that is Tata Advanced Systems Limited, they are also setting up a plant in Dholera, that is your semiconductor manufacturing plant. So these were important current affairs. Now let's move to the revision part, students, that will be quite beneficial for you all. How much amount was directly transferred to each beneficiary women under Bihar's Mukhyamantri Mahila Rozgar Yojana launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 26th of September? If we look at here, it is 10,000 rupees and it will be transferred to almost 75 lakh women in Bihar. And here further, for this is for their growing their entrepreneur or to starting their entrepreneurship journey. If they are doing well, then further add 1 lakh rupees will be further 2 lakh rupees will be transferred if their venture is going good and if they want more funding. Next, what was India's first Maritime Simulation Center inaugurated by Union Minister of Port, Shipping and Waterways Sarbandana Sonowal at a development cost of 13.5 crore rupees. So what was India's first Maritime Simulation Center? What was it? Where it is? It is Academy of Maritime Education and Training in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Next, mark the correct statement regarding Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Rajasthan on September 25th for the development projects worth 1.22 lakh crore rupees. If we look at the option, all these three options are rightly mentioned. Next, India's first AI-powered Pilgrim Integrated Command Control Center was inaugurated where? It was inaugurated at the Tirumala Temple, Andhra Pradesh, and now you can see AI is being used for crowd control, for promoting safety, for promoting queue efficiency, cyber threat, and many more, right? So this AI-powered Pilgrim Integrated Command Center is at Tirumala Temple, that is in Andhra Pradesh. Next, the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation released the 4th edition of Children in India 2025. This was during the 29th Conference of Central and State Statistical Organization in Chandigarh, right? This is also the question, students, that which edition of the COC-SSO was held in Chandigarh? It was 29th edition, or vis-a-vis the 29th edition was held where? In Chandigarh. So you have to find out the correct statements here given. If we look at the options here, only C option is rightly mentioned, A is wrong and B is wrong. If we talk about India's infant mortality rate, it has decreased from 44 per 1000 live births to 35 in 2023. Not 35, it is 25 here. Now option A is right. If we look at B, India's under 5 mortality rate was estimated at 20 in 2023 compared to 30 in 2022, right? So it was 29 in 2023 compared to 30 in 2022. Now option B is also right. It is not 20 and C option is already right. Next, which organization released the 8th edition of the Environmental Accounts Report titling Environment Accounting on Forest 2025? This was during the 29th CCSO held in Chandigarh. So which organization released it? It was released by, we just saw, it is your Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Next, pick out the correct statement regarding India's environmental recognition during the 37th session of UNESCO's International Coordinating Council for the Man and Biosphere Program held in Paris, France. So pick out the correct statement here. If we look at the option here, option A is right and option B is right, C is wrongly mentioned. C is saying that during the session, 30 new biosphere reserves were designated globally across 21 countries, the highest number in 20 years. So during the session, how many new biospheres were added? So during this, 26 new biospheres were designated globally across 21 countries, right? That is highest in 20 years. Take a note of this. Next is, okay, one more thing here, students. From India, it is India's cooled desert biosphere reserve, that is in Himachal Pradesh, that was included to the UNESCO's World Network of Biosphere Reserve. This is important, right? And this is in Himachal Pradesh. Next, mark the correct statement regarding the projects inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Jasorguda in Odisha. So mark the correct statement. If we look at the option here, all these three options are rightly mentioned. Next, which of the following companies institutions are technology partners for BSNL's Swadeshi 4G network launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in September? If we look at the option here, it is your all of them are right. Tejas Network, Center for Development of Telematics, and Tata Consultancy Services. Next is in September, the Maintenance Command of the Indian Air Force signed a memorandum of understanding with which institute for collaborative development projects that are aimed at supporting the sustenance and operational requirements of Indian Air Force. If we look at the option, it is IIT Ropar, right? So Maintenance Command of the Indian Air Force, they have signed this MOU with IIT Ropar for the collaborative projects that are aimed at supporting the sustenance and operational requirements of the Indian Air Force. Next, which Indian company or which India's defense manufacturing unit was jointly inaugurated by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and Morocco's Defense Minister Abdelif Ludi in Morocco during September 2025, making this India's first ever defense manufacturing plant in Africa, and it is one of the largest plant there, that is Tata Advanced Systems Limited. Also remember, Tata Advanced Systems Limited, they are launching a plant in Dholera, that is a semiconductor fabrication unit plant. Correct, students? So right option is Tata Advanced Systems Limited, TASL. Next is pick out the incorrect statement regarding the 69th General Conference of the International Atomic Energy Agency held from 15th to 19th of September. If we look at the options here, it is Norway that became the new member state of the IAEA following the approval of the 69th General Conference, bringing the total number of states to 181. Right? Is it so? Is it Norway that we are talking about? So here remember, Maldives became the new member state, not Norway. Maldives became the new member state of International Atomic Energy Agency, and this was the 69th General Conference. Next, identify the company of which RBI has cancelled the certificate of registration due to irregularities in the lending processes. So it is Datta Finance and Trading Private Limited. Because of their irregularities in the lending process, their certification of registration has been cancelled. Next, name the bank that launched industry's first e-rupee person-to-person, that is P2P digital gifting feature on UPI. With this, from 1 to 10,000 rupees, any amount of gift card you can purchase in any number. Only it should not exceed 10,000 rupees, right? So it can be any number of cards that you can, these gift cards you can purchase through this e-rupee P2P digital gifting feature. Right? Question asked is, which bank has launched this feature? It is Bank of Baroda. They have launched this feature. Next, name the international framework to which RBI renewed their statement of commitment in September to uphold global best practices in foreign exchange market. It is FX Global Code. This code was developed under strategic partnership between the central banks and market participants worldwide and was first published in 2017. Next is mark the revised minimum net worth requirements that SEBI set for custodians in September 25 to strengthen the risk management system. It is 75 crore rupees. It was earlier 50 crore rupees, that was enhanced to 75 crore rupees, that will strengthen the risk management systems. Next, choose the category of traders that RBI permitted in September to participate in rupee non-deliverables derivative contracts in the offshore NDF market. So choose the category of the traders. It is standalone primary dealers, right? And these changes are effective immediately following the RBI's move. Next, RBI, they have released RBI authentication mechanism for digital payment transactions directions for 2025, according to which the directions will apply to all the payment system providers and participants, that are banks and non-banks, for domestic digital payment transaction. And will these directions, they will be coming into effect from when? They will be coming into effect from 1st of April 2026. Next, pick out the correct statement regarding the revised norms for claim settlement of the deceased customers' bank accounts and lockers by RBI in September 2025. If we look at the options, we have to find the correct statement. So option B is right, C is right, A is wrong. A is saying that all the deposit, it is mandatory for the banks to settle the claims within a time period not exceeding 30 days from the date of receipt. It is not 30 days but 15 days, right? That means for deposit accounts, it is mandatory for the banks to settle the claims within a time period not exceeding 15 days from the date of the receipt. Next, mention the organization which predicted India's GDP forecast by 40 basis point to 6.7%. Earlier, they were projecting 6.3% and now they are projecting 6.7% for FY26 in their interim report. So, which is that organization? It is OECD, that is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Next, which company has signed a memorandum of understanding with HD Korea Shipbuilding and Offshore Engineering for long-term strategic collaboration in the shipbuilding sector? It is Cochin Shipyard Limited. Next, identify the company with which L&T, that is Larsen & Toubro, has formed a strategic partnership to support the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, that is the 5th generation stealth fighter jet initiative for the Indian Air Force. It is Bharat Electronics Limited, that is BEL. Then mention the aerospace startup that launched India's first large format 3D printing facility for rocket systems at IIT Madras Research Park in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, which is that it is Agnikul Cosmos, right? They have launched this 3D or India's first large format 3D printing facility for rocket systems. Moving on. Next is pick out the correct statement regarding the awards at the 69th edition of the Ballon d'Or award ceremony that took place in Paris, France. If we look at the options, all the options here are rightly mentioned. Important, that is Barcelona and Spain midfielder Aitana Bonmati made history by winning the Women's Ballon d'Or for the third consecutive year. And in the men's category, PSG forward player Ousmane Dembélé has won the Men's Ballon d'Or award and becoming the 6th Frenchman to win this award. Next, choose the celebrity who is not among the top 5 most valued Indian celebrities in the Kroll Celebrity Brand Valuation Report released in September. So among the following, Akshay Kumar is not on the list. Virat Kohli, then Ranveer Singh, Shah Rukh Khan, Alia Bhatt and Sachin Tendulkar. Next, for how long has the tenure of General Anil Chauhan as Chief of Defence Staff and Secretary of the Department of Military Affairs has been extended by the ACC? So his term has been extended by 1 year till 30th of June 2026.